What is good, Smooth Nation? Sorry if I sound sad, but I just it's a hard pill to swallow, but something I gotta admit, Naruto is better than Bleach. Bleach is the worst of the big three. After I've been watching the Thousand Year Blood War arc, and it's just the same problem as all the other arcs. Let's again, okay. The, every arc is the same. The arcs in Bleach are just the same. Rescue the princess mission over and over. Is what I mean by rescue the princess that we gotta dance in the stress. The first time it was Rukia in the Soul Society arc, gonna go save Rukia, gonna go fight all the bad guys to save Rukia. And then the Arankar and Aizen arc is the same thing. This time Orihime's kidnapped, and we gotta fight all the bad guys to save Orihime. And then the next arc is just freaking forgettable. I don't even care about it. Whatever his name was. And then the Thousand Year Blood War arc is another rescue the princess mission. Yeah, you're not fooling me. Uryu is just another damsel in distress. You just gotta save him from himself. You're not fooling me. Like, when Naruto did the Sasuke turns evil, the whole mission was to save Sasuke from himself. Sasuke's a damsel in distress. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. The whole save the guy from himself is just another damsel in distress in disguise. So you're not fooling me with that. And say about the world and the characters. There's too many characters in Bleach, bro. They try to give every time there's a bad guy, they try to give him this quick, rushed backstory, even though he was pretty one-note characterization. In fact, a lot of these people don't need backstories. They're just bad guys. Just let bad guys be bad guys. The only one who really needed a backstory was Aizen, and he didn't get it. Aizen was the only one in the Arankar arc who actually needed a backstory. He's the only one who actually needed it. Because all the others, like all those bad guys, all those Arankar, they were destined to just get one shot, just get killed off, and then we're never going to see them again, except for a handful of them. So why are you trying to give every single one of them a backstory? They don't need it. Just let them get defeated and leave it at that. In fact, let's talk about Ichigo for a second. Ichigo is a reactive character. Oh, I've heard that argument before. Don't care. I'm saying it again because it's true. Ichigo is a purely reactive character. In the Soul Society arc, he wasn't strong enough to beat Renji, so conveniently this strange kind of Soul Reaper teacher guy shows up, and with the fedora hat, and he has to train under him to get a new Zanpakuto and get these new powers. And then in the Arankar arc, guess what? He's not strong enough to beat the Arankar, so he has to go train with the Arankar. He has to go train with the Vizards to get a new mask. And then in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, guess what? He's not strong enough to defeat the bad guy, so he has to go train with Squad Zero again. It's the same thing on repeat. You know what would be cool? Like, and let's go back to the Arankar arc for a second. What if instead of the Visors should not have existed? I don't care how cool their designs are, they should not exist. How about instead if Ichigo taught himself how to control that mask? Now, let's say he went over to Okiyara, not Okiyara, whatever that freaking name was. He taught himself to control that stuff. Like the guy says, "Hey, we've had some Soul Reapers who had this stuff in the past, but it's not something I've dealt with. You're gonna have to teach that to yourself." And you have an arc where he pretty much teaches himself to do stuff. Like Naruto had to teach himself a lot of stuff. When he learned the Rasengan, he had to teach himself. He had to get the Shadow Clone to do it for him. Ichigo never has a moment like that where he uses his ingenious. He uses his brains to figure something out. He never has a moment like that. He never has a single moment like that. It's, hey, I gotta go to this guy to get this new power up. Done. Every single freaking time. Every single time. He never has a moment like that. Naruto is constantly creating these new techniques over and over. You know what Ichigo's doing? The Gesuga Tensho is an energy beam. And when he gets holified, when he gets his mask, you know what this? It gives him more energy beams. When he does his Bankai, he moves a bit faster. That's it. That's it. Ichigo's powers suck. I understand why people just call Bleach Sword DBZ, because they're literally just flying around shooting energy beams. Here's the weird thing. you have some crazy hacks like Aizen Zanpakuto can control the senses. That's awesome. They have like freaking not Rangiku. Actually, yeah, Rangiku's little dust bunny thing. It turns into dust and cuts people up. Byakuya's turns into like a thousand flower puddles, which are like blades and stuff. That's kind of cool and stuff. In fact, everybody else's power is awesome except Ichigo. Ichigo just does that. He shoots energy beams. What's that? Kenpachi. Kenpachi is more powerful, and he's basically the same. Kenpachi's cooler, and yet he's basically saying, how does that even work? And currently in the Thousand Year Blood War arc, they're killing off certain characters who were only significant to everybody except the main character. You've got too many characters in the show. You stop having to explain everything. Let me just talk about this Kenpachi for a second. His whole explanation of, oh, well, 1,000 years ago, he met the original Kenpachi, which is Uki. There's so many. I forgot her freaking name. The chick with the blood powers. Forgot her freaking name. There's too many characters in the show, and they put restrictions on his power. That's the dumbest explanation for losing a fight I've ever heard. Why not just say, "Hey, I trained"? Why not just say, "Hey, why not Kenpachi just come to realization? You know, I've just been kind of a brute my whole life. You know, maybe I need to focus more on some techniques." He starts learning more about Kido, and then somehow he's able to communicate with his Zanpakuto like that. See, that's being productive. Kenpachi is just as reactive as Ichigo. See, the thing, when I say these characters are reactive, they don't make things happen. They wait for other people to come up and help them out with stuff. It's like that. Ichigo is like that kid who keeps having to ask the teacher's help every single time. Just no self-reliance. Just do stuff on your own. It's freaking like Naruto again. Naruto was coming up with his own techniques. He came up with several different variations of the Rasengan. Several different you can see one right there. So many different variations of the Rasengan. So many different variations of stuff. What did Ichigo come up with by himself? Nothing. It's this. Even his new Zanpakuto. When his new Zanpakuto, you know what it does? And the Thousand Year Blood War, it shoots beams. Again. Ichigo's powers freaking suck. He's such a reactive character. It's okay to start off as a reactive character, but you need to evolve and get more proactive over time. May have an arc where he's too proactive. How about have an arc where he wants the Soul Society to reveal themselves to the human world and try to get human leaders to interact with Soul Society? That would have been productive and stuff. This is the same thing on repeat. Ichigo never comes up with new techniques or something like that. He's always waiting for someone else to teach him something and then rolls with it. It's not productive. Naruto is a way better character. Naruto's constantly coming up with new stuff. When he got Sage Mode, he didn't just leave it at that. He later, when he got the Nine Tails power, he mixed it with Sage Mode and created this thing. And then later got another version. He would say, oh, Naruto, he was handed so many things. All his techniques are his techniques. His variants of the Rasengan, are his variants. Like his father, Minato, never came up with any other variants of the Rasengan. It was just that same Rasengan. Naruto has a bajillion different Rasengans. Not to mention things like the sexy jutsu, things like all this other stuff. Ichigo just has that same move fast, shoot energy beam thing over and over. I'm so tired of Ichigo's powers. They're lame. There's too many characters. Every arc is the freaking same. And current now, I just watched the latest episode. They give the head captain. They give the head captain. He gets defeated by this guy, so his freaking daughter or whatever has to show up, has to fight the bad guy, and he pulls out this freaking god killer sword, which is so convenient. In fact, this is every single fight in Bleach. Okay, character A shows up to character B. Character A and B have a pissing contest to see who's stronger. Character B beats the snot out of Character A, and Character A happens to get this new power just in time. Every single fight goes the same. Ichigo versus Renji went the same. Ichigo versus Kenpachi went the same. He just happened to get a new power at that exact time. Ichigo versus Byakuya, the same. Ichigo versus Ukiura, the same. Ichigo versus Ukiura just happened to go full hollow, or the full hollow mode at just in time when he's about to die. When he fought Grimmjow, guess what happened? He's able to get just enough strength just in time. Every single fight is the same. Man, it's just sword DBZ. In fact, no, DBZ did it better. Because in DBZ, things really come down to skill. They make an effort to show just how skilled these fighters are. While in Bleach, you don't really get that. Because you have all these cool hacks and stuff, but they don't really use it against, like, if Ichigo went up against anybody except Byakuya, he would have got anybody except Byakuya and Kenpachi, he would have got destroyed. If Ichigo went up to like Head Captain Yamamoto with the fire, would have been burnt to shame. If he went up against any other, if he went up against Soifong, Soifong, the two-touch poison, you're dead. Ichigo would have died. Soifong is fast enough and skilled enough to just double tap him in the same spot, and he would have been dead. And I believe that Ichigo would have lost to Soifong. I don't care who gets mad when they say that. Ichigo would have lost to all the people with the actual good hacks in the show. Freaking, because Ichigo's always been up against other powerhouses. He never gets put up against a hacksmonger. Except for Aizen, who he was immune to. So this makes the fight boring. It just comes down to more Dragon Ball nonsense. The fights suck. Ichigo's a reactive character. He's not proactive. Ichigo is that teacher who keeps going. Ichigo is that kid who keeps going for the teacher for help every single time. He can't do anything on his own. It's not just one field. Oh, it's like, oh no, it's not one class. No, it's every freaking class. Ichigo just comes across as lazy bum time again. He never becomes more proactive. He's always waiting for someone else to come teach him something. He's not coming up with new techniques. Like, you see characters like Naruto, and I will constantly keep bringing up Naruto, constantly coming up with new jutsus. Constantly coming up with new jutsus. People say, oh, Naruto's just the powerhouse. He is so much better than Ichigo in every single way. Naruto's constantly coming up with new jutsus. When he makes them by himself, he's coming up with these new jutsus. Oh, he has a little help here and there. He's still coming up with his own techniques. Ichigo doesn't come up with new techniques. He's just sitting there waiting for people to teach him stuff because he's apparently part everything. If he was introduced as just an average kid, no, he actually turned out he's actually a hollow, an artificial hollow who gained the powers of both a Soul Reaper and a Quincy. You know, it doesn't really matter how many parts you put in this DNA, because everything just comes down to shooting beams. Now, people acted so surprised when Hollow Ichigo did that Zero. To take the Zero, it's just another beam. What's the difference between a Zero beam and all the other beams in the series? They're all just beams. Now, like when Dragon Ball does this stuff, they come up with all these different beams. Each beam works a bit different. Each beam does a different amount of damage, and these are techniques that they came up with by themselves. Like Vegeta came up with the Gallic Gun by himself. He came up with the Final Flash by himself. He came up with all those stuff by himself. Goku, he came up with different variants of the Kamehameha. He didn't make the Kamehameha, but he came up with different variants of it. The Instant Kamehameha and all these other Kamehamehas. These characters from other series, like Luffy is way better than freaking Ichigo. Luffy is coming up with stuff on his own. He's creating the gear system. He's creating all these new techniques. Naruto's creating all these new techniques. Ichigo doesn't make new techniques. He just sits there waiting. Like I say, he's the kid in school who keeps asking for help every single day. Can't evolve. I'm empty now. Black guys, Food Nation, you're dismissed. I'm sick. Naruto, you win. You win.